Welcome to Soul, Light, and Body. And today is International Self Care Day. What a big day! And we must ask that question. Are you prioritizing self care for your well being? Right, Joan? Are you prioritizing self care for your well being? Because many times we are living someone else's life instead of living our own life and being authentic with our own self. And today is International Self Care Day. And today we really need to sit back and to pause and go hard inside within and see how our life is really going. If there are some things that we really need to change, let's say, for instance, our morning routine. What is your morning routine? Are you finding the time to sit with yourself in the morning, doing some form of spiritual activity for yourself? Are you doing some deep breathing, meditation, yoga, prayers, whatever it is, whatever works for you? Are you finding that time to do that for yourself? Because many times we are not doing nothing for our self care. We are not finding that time to even do some grounding. We are not finding that time to go in nature. We are not finding that time to do our journaling. How are you really doing in that area? And today is one of the days that is really reminding us that we should really check in with ourselves and see the changes that we really need to make in our lives. Because many times we are running ourselves so ragged. We're not even prioritizing our sleep. How is your sleep hygiene? How is your sleep hygiene? Are you really connecting with yourself? Are you finding the time during the day to just pause for a few moments and check in? There are so many things that we really need to do for ourselves. We need to prioritize ourselves. Because if you don't fill yourself up, you can never be good for no one else. You can't show up in spaces and be authentic. So you've got to prioritize yourself first so that when you show up in the world, you can show up and be full and ready to be of service. So today is just a reminder that we really need to take a hard look at our self-care and see if it's good for our well-being, see if it's working for us, and some of the things that we really need to put in place for our own well-being. It's time. Because we all just keep going around in circles and we didn't know which direction we're going. We are winding down to the end of July, going into August. Before you know it, we are exiting 2024. What are your accomplishments in 2024? Are you revising your goals and see how you can break them down into smaller, achievable goals? What are you really doing for yourself? The question is, what are you doing for yourself and your life? You really got to stop. You got to check in and to see how you're really doing. Because many times we are serving others and we are forgetting about ourselves. We're not even serving ourselves. That is how we get burnout. We get stressed out. We even get angry with ourselves. Many people go into a state of depression because we are forgetting about our life. We are filling other people's life up and we are forgetting about ourselves. We're not filling ourselves up back. So today, is International Self-Care Day. And myself and my sister, we wrote a beautiful book. Self-Care is Intentional. You can grab a copy from Amazon, and there's some beautiful tips in there how you can take care of yourself as a person, how you can check in with your mental, your physical, your spiritual, all the sides of you that needs to be checked in with. Go grab yourself a copy on Amazon. It's going to help you, because many times people say, I don't know how to do it. If you buy that book, you'll see all the steps is in there. We outline all the steps for you to make it easy for you, that you could able to check in with yourself and to help yourself in the process of self-care. Because self-care is not taking a bubble bath alone. There's so many other aspects to self-care. Setting boundaries is self-care. We're going to touch on that this evening. It's for your well-being. It's time we stop living other people's life and live our own life. And in order to do that, you got to check in with yourself and see if the paradigm that you're running on, if it's your paradigm or if it's someone else's paradigm you're running on. And if you want to change it up, it's your choice. You can make that choice and change it because it's your life. I'm Karen Pascal, holistic health and wellness coach, and a co-author of 2 books with my sister, Your Gut in You and Self-Care is Intentional. And you can grab yourself copies on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, and just do some reading. It's going to help you. Let reading be part of your self-care. Let reading be part of your self-care. Check in with yourself. Let reading be part of your self-care. And don't forget to subscribe to Soul Light and Body. If this is your first time joining us, welcome to Soul Light and Body. We really appreciate you joining us and supporting us. Thank you so much. Tyshon, thank you so much for joining us once again. You had a fabulous audio room on LinkedIn last evening. Oh my goodness. There were so many pointers that you shared on LinkedIn, and you're helping so many people to be themselves. Congratulations to you, Tyshon, and thank you so much. John, mic to you.
Great opening as always. How can you make a difference today? Is a day that has been labeled International Self-Care Day.
Mm-hmm.
What action are you taking? That's our question to you tonight, who is listening right now, live and on the replay. What action are you taking? Because we can hear all the stuff, we can listen to all the stuff, but when it comes down to the bottom line, what action are you taking? So we're going to change things up tonight a little bit. If you can send us your story, what action you have taken with your goals, what action have you taken with self-care, you'll get this copy for free until the end of the month. You create a video or you write your story, you send it to us. We send you a copy because you want to congratulate you and celebrate you for taking action. Taking action is very key because in order for us to live the life we deserve and to be our best, live our best, walk in our excellence, we got to practice self-care. We got to take care of ourselves because we want to show up with everything. And what do I mean by that? Your spirituality, your physical activity, your joy, your creativity. Nourish and nurture yourself. You got to come with everything because you want to be able to function fully. Self-care is being in a level of alignment, everything, not just as Karen mentioned, bubble bath, but we got to eat the right kind of food so that our thoughts can be clear, removing brain fog. Our microbiome is in order so that we can prevent leaky gut. And then you nurture, fill in all those areas that we spoke about: joy, creativity, physical activity, spirituality, whatever practice it is, getting out into nature. One of the things Karen and I decided to be more intentional this year is to be more out in nature and harness that level of energy, a lot of grounding, and enjoy that. Because when we can be out in nature, there's so much to see. And you come with a level of elevation because you're harnessing all of that and you're fulfilling yourself, you're fortifying yourself so that you can be your best and living a life of service, giving, sharing, caring, love, kindness, and gratitude. When we can share that with others, such a beautiful thing. What action are you taking? I'm going to go back to that. I want you to sit with that tonight. What action are you taking today to prioritize your boundaries for your well-being so you can live your best and that you can live your best, finish 2024 strong and move into 25 with fullness, with that level of bliss, with that level of joy, that level of creativity, and making that level of difference in a profound way. What action are you taking? And you take a second look at your life. Are you pausing? Because there is power in pause. Are you staying present? Are you staying in that moment? Are you celebrating your wins, big or small? Because you work hard for that. Are you reminding yourself every day that you're special? What is your self talk? What are you saying to yourself? Are you reminding yourself that you are worthy and that you deserve all the good things to come to you? Take a second look at that. Tyshon, thank you for being here. My name is Joan Williams, Holistic Health and Wellness Coach. And we got a great evening tonight. Special guest, someone who is making such an amazing impact in the world, changing life. Every space that she visits, she make tremendous deposit. As we were talking earlier about the amazing room that she had last evening. Very profound, very strong, great takeaways. All the guests that she had on stage along with her. Beautiful. And that's how we got to move. We got to surround ourselves with the right kind of people who can elevate us and help us to live our highest self so that we can transform and change. Tyshon, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Like it's such an honor to be sharing space with you again. I love it here. I love it. And I want to help the audience with answering that question because a lot of times we don't acknowledge the things that we do. And some people who are brand new to self-care might struggle with answering that question. So a lot of us would say like take it one day at a time, but I'm going to break it down even more and say take it 1 minute at a time.
Yes.
It's something that you're doing that you feel, even if it's just an ounce of joy per day. And if you really want to dig deeper and really think about what that thing is, think about what do you do to detox from the toxicity that you're surrounded by. If you are working a stressful job, if you are in a stressful relationship, if you just got some stressful kids at home, and you do something, you do that one little thing that says, I'm going to just give myself this moment before I walk into it. That's a start. That's a
Right.
great start. The next thing after that is to try not even putting yourself in that position in the first place, so you don't have to constantly detox from something. But it's a start when you that self-awareness is great, to say, I know that this about my life is stressing me out right now, so I'm going to do something either before I go into it, or have something ready after I leave. Whether it's sneaking to eat your food in the car before you go home with the begging kids, or listen, this was my thing, listening to some upbeat music before, like, I don't care how late I am, I'm going to give myself those 5 minutes to blast my radio and listen to some upbeat music before I walk into this building that I know everyone is going to start being so demanding towards me. That was like a very stressful time in my management life, and I just want to like really encourage everyone to dig deep with that question. And because if someone who really feel like they don't have a self-care routine, as soon as you said, okay, let me know what you're doing, I know this feeling. They started beating themselves up saying, oh, I'm not doing anything, I need to treat myself better. Give yourself some grace and acknowledge those 5 minutes that you give yourself when you already like know that know that something else is stressful. And then once you do that, then it will become easier. So what you focus on, that's what you're going to get more of in your life. So really focus on those 5 minutes or however long it is. Even if it's like, you're constantly doing something for other people day after day after day, and then you have this non-negotiable girls trips that you do every year. That's self-care because you put it on your calendar, you make sure you do it, whatever it is. Like you said, something about nature. If you know that you go outside barefoot for a few minutes, that's self-care. So please, y'all, dig deep when you like take the whole day, pay attention to everything that you're doing, and then pay attention to your moods when you are experiencing the why that you're doing it, and then say, oh, this is something that I do. Because sometimes it's probably on autopilot at this moment, but we don't play about us. And the more we tell ourselves that, the more ourselves will acknowledge and say, yes, I am worthy. And while I'm rumbling on and on and on, I didn't even introduce myself. That is my superpower. My superhuman power is helping other people um, understand how worthy they are, so that they don't have to continue to sacrifice their wealth by doing things for other people. So I really help people, empower them to say I am worthy, regardless if someone else agrees or not. Because as soon as you start understand as soon as you understand your worth and you start communicating that to other people, there's going to be someone else who disagrees, because they don't see their stuff on that level and they struggle with that, and they're going to look at you as a threat. But there are going to be more people who are inspired by you identifying this worth in yourself, and they're going to say, wow, I wonder how I can do that same thing. Those are the people you want to focus on, and the other people will catch on either at sooner, or later, later when they think back and say, "Oh, I remember that girl who was very confident and she knew her worth, and I remember that. I want that feeling." But they're not there yet, and that's okay. They still got some things to go through. Their journey is their journey. we,
Right.
we we like to call those people haters, but they're not always hating. They're just ignorant. They don't know,
Mhm.
and that's not our job all the time to make them know. Like they say, if they don't want to be saved, we can't save them all the time. We can't save them. But yes, thanks again for having me. It's I love every opportunity to be able to just share what's in my heart, and do what I feel like I've been called to do, which is just again, help other people understand how worthy they are, help leaders really incorporate wellness into their leadership journey, so we can continue to help assist the people who are looking up to us, help them reach their greatest priority. And that's what I really think will make the world a better place, when we continue to show up the way that we do. So thanks again.
Well, it's always a joy
Same
to
here.
us to sit with you and listen to you and share the level of value, and you serve us well all the time. And there's always so much takeaways that we, the audience ourselves, that we can start practicing that in our lives, that we can live the life that we deserve. Now, the question we want to start off with tonight is, and I think Karen spoke about it early in our intro, how do we set that morning routine? How do we start that day that we can have that with us before we enter into our day, start our day fully, whether we incorporate, whether we work in private, whatever we're doing.
Hmm.
Set the tone for us and demonstrate and tell us how do we set that and walk in that level of our daily routine.
Yeah, the very first thing for me is really like a more of a meditation, because I love the fact that I can dream, and I just realized that not everyone dream. Like, some I've been having these conversations, and I realized not everyone dream. But so if I remember part of my dream, I definitely sit there for a moment and try to process that. So that's my main thing is my introspection time, and I spend however much time I need doing that. In addition, as you see, I make my tea every single morning. Sometimes it's while I'm doing my introspection, because I might get out of bed, I might not, whatever my body tells me to do. Uh, so I make my this tea here, which is sea moss, some non-negotiable for me every single day. Sea moss, ginger, and lime. That's another thing that helps me with my gut, because I have to poop every day before I leave the house, because I don't want to go to into the world full of it, you know. And I just started adding cayenne pepper, just a dash of cayenne pepper, because that also helps, with the circulation and everything. Warm water alone is something that I incorporated into my daily routine. And if I can, I mix that with just a few minutes of yoga, and I prioritize the twist in my yoga, just again to focus on twisting my gut to help with just making sure I poop better. And that's like a huge part of how I judge my health at the moment. So it's this tea is something that I was always drinking tea, but once I started back with the sea moss, that's when I said, okay, I'm big on my time. Like, I don't like rushing, but I do things to make time. So you will notice in the video that the sea moss is already made, and I do a big jar because I don't want to keep making it. But also in the squeeze, instead of like doing fresh cut up lime, I squeeze it ahead of time and add mix it in with the ginger. So I juice the ginger, and juice the lime, and just put it in the bottle, so that makes it quicker for my mornings, because I just want to fix it and go. And then I went to the patio, which I do often because I love just listening to the birds and watching the butterflies. So it's something that's something that I came up like realized this by mistake, because it's just I was laying there, and I think I was like new to meditation without the guided part, because I started guided meditation when I wanted to sleep better. But I started meditating just with me alone, with my thoughts, and I would just lay there. And at first, I used to be like, "These birds making too much noise," and I thought about it. Maybe they're trying to tell me something. So now I like to say I'm having conversation with the birds. Like, that's part that has become a part of my morning routine once I learned to embrace it, because I'm like, they're just not this close to my window for nothing. It has to be for a reason. So my introspection time with my tea, I poop, do my movements, whatever I need to do, depending on what I have planned for that day. I might sneak in like a nature walk or something, or a full yoga workout, or a full go to the gym or something like that. But I'm very intentional about pouring into myself first. That's the main thing, regardless of what I do. When I say pouring into myself, it doesn't have to do with like saying when I leave the house going to pour into someone else. Grabbing your phone. Once you grab your phone and go to your email, go to your social media, go to anything, you're already pouring into something or someone else. You're already letting someone dictate your mood, because you have no control over what will happen from there. So give yourself enough time to and respect to control yourself first, and say, I'm going to be intentional about loving on myself in this moment. However long it is, whatever works for you, that's what works for you. But for me, I think like each morning I give myself a good hour of just me, my journal, my tea, and the birds, because they just like a part of me right at this moment. But I love it. I just it's something that when I don't do it, I know throughout the day that I didn't do it. If I don't poop
Yes.
in the morning, I know throughout the day that I didn't poop in the morning. It's something, I don't know the science behind that, but it's definitely something to it, as far as say this is a non-negotiable, that you have to release all of this so you can be able to flow better throughout the day. And this tea right here, I never thought I would be one to, because the Kanye pepper caught me off guard, but now I look for that spice when I, when it just does something to me. And then when you sit down and being intentional about like, okay, drinking, being more mindful. I mean, they call it mindful eating, instead of trying to focus on everything else. Just sip and feel it going down. You can already feel like you're getting healthier. It's just can't nobody tell me anything that when it comes down to like stuff like this. I can already. It's like when that one person who you when you first start working out, and you already feel like you lost 5 pounds. Like the next day you feel like the weight is gone. So I don't even need to get on the scale, because I know in my mind that the weight is gone. Like that's how I feel when I do things like this, and I feel the T going down. It's something about that burn that telling me, yeah, girl, this is self love, and it's just so beautiful.
That
You
is
know, go
beautiful. Go,
go
go
ahead,
ahead,
Joe.
Karen. No, you
You
go.
know, just listening to you, Tyshon, this summing up to self-awareness. It is self-care, it is self-awareness, it is compassion,
Hmm.
it is love for self, feeling worthy enough, because once we can start our day off with this routine, whatever is your routine, once you can start your day off and fortify yourself before you get on social media,
Hmm.
you will see how your life will make a remarkable turnaround. We are not saying that things will not come up sometimes against you during the day, but you are equipped enough to handle those situations because you already poured into yourself. So whatever comes up, you're ready for it. And you can handle the situation on a very spiritual level.
Hmm.
Because many times, as I said before in the intro, we are not taking that time for ourselves. And we owe it to ourselves. We always on a rush. We always on that rush, you know, like we really gotta catch this world. The world is running away from us and we gotta just catch it, you know. And we are forgetting that we come first. Listening to you talking about that tea you make in the morning, myself and Joan, for a pretty long time now, we make sure every morning when we get up, we do our meditation. You know, if we don't do that meditation, we feel so lost.
Hmm.
We got to do that meditation in the morning. And before we come out from that meditation, we always ask the higher power to lead us and to guide us during the day. And we just be open and allow that flow to happen. Because everything that happened to us during the day, right, is a lesson that we need to learn. And it's a wisdom. If we look at these experiences as wisdom, it will help us to understand more about life. It will help us to understand the people that we're meeting on our journey here is part of our journey. It's part of our journey. Because if we don't meet these people on our journey, how are we going to learn? How are we going to learn? So instead of looking at experiences as such a bad thing, we need to start looking at experiences as a good thing for us, because it's a part of our learning process. And it's helping us as individuals to understand more about ourselves. It's helping us a great lot. And it's the way how you look at life, that is how life going to flow to you. If you look at life being a bad thing, it's going to be show up bad for you. If you look at life as a process of learning and giving you the wisdom that you need, that is what is going to happen for you. Find a morning routine that is going to help you to ground yourself. We all need to ground ourselves before we start our day. And many of us are not doing that. That is why when you find that things show up in your life, you can't handle it. You cannot, because you have not ground yourself enough. You got to ground yourself, and that is a part of self-care. Every morning, myself and Joan, we make our cup of tea. We put our ginger or lemon or turmeric or black pepper, and you just sip your tea. That's your time. That is your time. And you just allow yourself for that spiritual download to just come through you. So when you step out of your door, you are just ready for the world. You could afford to pour into others. Whatever space you enter, you are equipped enough that you could fill someone else up when you go into that space. That is what we need to do. Because you know what? We are here to help humanity. That is what we are here for. We are here to help each other. And in order for us to do that, we gotta continue to fill ourselves up. So we can pour, and we can pour to someone else without even thinking. We can pour into them. And even so, if you pour into someone else and is not being reciprocated back to you, that's quite okay. It's quite okay. It is quite okay. They are on their own personal journey. And as they go along, they will learn. But don't make one incident or one situation stop you from being yourself. Just be yourself. You continue pouring love. Love will never run out, because you're love. And everywhere you go, sprinkle that love everywhere you go. Because once you do that, love is going to continue, just keep coming up in you all the time. It's going to just keep coming up in you all the time. So just be yourself. Just be yourself. Be your beautiful self. That's all you need to be. Be open to change. Be open to evolution. Because every day we are an evolving energy. We are evolving every minute of the day. We are evolving. And don't hold back. Don't try to hold back, because you can't hold that energy. The energy wants to evolve. And many times we are suppressing ourselves. We are suppressing ourselves. We're not allowing ourselves to be. We're not allowing ourselves to evolve. So, you know what? Today is Self Care International Day. And as I said before, we need to sit and we need to take a hard look at ourselves because many times you always hear people saying, my life is a mess. I don't know which direction I'm going. Are you sitting in silence and taking a stock of your life? Or are you allowing yourselves to run on someone else's paradigm?
Mhm.
So today, it's a day for all of us to really take a hard look at ourselves, recalibrate, and just allow that beautiful energy to just flow. Flow it like a pipe. Just allow your energy to flow. If you're in a space and it's not working for you, take the message from the space and keep it moving. Just keep it moving. Learn what you can learn from that space and keep it moving.
Mhm.
Taisha, my question to you now. What are boundaries?
That's a beautiful question. um, so how real can I be? Like how
Give it to us all.
what's coming up
Just be
for
real.
me?
Allow your
Don't
spirit to flow
just
it.
allow it. Allow it.
Okay, so boundaries to me is I like to look at it as every day I give myself a certain amount of fucks to give, right? And I can give it to other people, like waste my time saying continuing to tell other people how to treat me and blah blah blah, like doing all of this, or I can use it to just set a boundary and like show people how to treat me. So it's pretty much me setting my non-negotiables and like what I said about earlier, like us not playing with us, like telling myself and showing myself I don't play about you and those guidelines. So we can call it gun line, like don't cross the gun line, boss. Like we can call it the gun line, saying okay, this is the boundary of the limits that I'm willing to let people in. As far as once they cross this line, then it's a no go. It's a no go for me. So it's not really trying to change other people, because I think that's what a lot of people get it mixed up. They were like,
Bro,
oh, it's like putting rules in place or something like that. It is a rule, but it's only for yourself to follow. Meaning, you tell someone else, "Don't talk to me like that,"
right.
or we won't be able to continue this conversation. Not saying okay, I'm going to argue with you until you learn how to talk to me. Like, no, if you set that boundary, then it's really telling someone that okay, I told you what I'm not willing to accept. You tried it anyways. Now this relationship, whatever we got going right now, is over. So the to sum it up, the boundary is really you choosing you, and period. That's it. That's the end of that. Like, you choosing you regardless of how anyone else feels about it, because no one else gets to say what's important to you. Like, not everyone will agree, and that's another thing people people get mixed up. You will tell someone something that you're not willing to accept, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't understand. I didn't ask you to understand." Like,
True.
it really don't
True.
matter if you
Right.
understand or not, because
Right.
like I mentioned last week on when I was talking to you guys, not if they don't respect their self enough to like treat themselves with the utmost respect,
Mm-hmm.
you can't expect them to
You
do the
can't.
same thing with
Exactly.
you. Right?
Exactly.
So if I come to you and say, don't talk to me like this because I find it disrespectful, and you disagree, that's your business. But this is my business. And I'm just saying, if we're going to share space, I
Mm-hmm.
can't. I can't be within within the same area with that type of energy that you
Right.
that you're bringing on. So it's just really teaching people how to treat you, or like what you are willing to accept, like what's required to get into this club. You know how every club have their you
Yeah.
need to have a shirt, you need to have these shoes on, you need to have this and that. What's required for them to step into your space? It's me
Mhm.
being protective of my energy. Once you understand how worthy you are, you get to you can do it anyways, but you find yourself being more protective of your peace, of your
True.
space. Like
True.
you're not just going to let any kind of energy because you understand how that affects you.
Mhm.
You understand the things that you have been tolerating that you are way too worthy for. And it's just like when you're putting a price on it. I mean, you can't put a price on you because no one can afford it, right? But as far as like getting people to understand, like when they see how expensive you are, then they're going to want to do what they can to make sure that they are able to share space with you because they realize that you don't do anything but bring them joy and positivity. And when they realize that, they might not be able to recognize it because they're so caught up in their own world,
Right.
but they're gonna realize, dang, she's somebody I want in my life. And that's the energy that you want to carry with you everywhere you go, compared to constantly pouring energy into people who just don't understand how worthy you are, and they're going to continue
True.
to do things like cross those lines just because you said it. We do have those testers. We do. I
Yeah.
probably was that person as a
Yes.
kid who
Yeah.
you tell me not to do something and I really wanted to do
Still
it.
do it.
I might try anyways, just to see how far I can get. And then when I get slapped crazy, and then I'll be like, okay, that I'm not good on it. I'm not saying y'all go out here and put y'all hands on people, but just make it easier to walk away if people don't respect you. So it's really just putting you first and not caring what anyone else thinks, because you don't have that time the time to entertain that. That's not for you to do. Let them figure that out with whoever they pray to, their higher power, and you go about your business and focus on who you was called to lead. And
Wow.
period.
Wow. That just love how you explain that. Now, how this question is, how does someone, if you've been tolerating people to treat you a certain way, but as we constantly grow, evolve, and constantly becoming what we tolerated when we were in 20s and our 30s,
Hmm.
we don't, because we are growing. There's growth and expansion. Our mindset is different. So as we constantly grow and understand life and move on a different level and move in a level of elevation, you've been tolerating it for so long. There's relationships, you've been tolerating it, there are friendships. How do you make that change when you've been tolerating it for so long?
I'm going to tell you one thing. If you don't make the change, life will make the change for you. And a
True.
lot of us experienced this during COVID, where we thought we had to do certain things, but COVID came and just everyone got used to a new normal. That some of us didn't even. I'm one of those people who didn't even go back to the old way of things. Like I didn't go back to working full time, and that was one of the boundaries that I had to set. It was crazy. I had to do that after COVID, after we proved that me and my team was way more productive, way more productive working from home. But it still was like, okay, let's go back to the way things were. Like, no, it's no such thing as back to normal, and that's what we have to get used to. So whether you make the decision to at your worst, or life happened and you was forced to do it, you look at that as the new normal. Don't try to get back to the way things were. Consider that everything happened for a reason, and show people that you are brand new. Not acting brand new, because you're going to hear it. You're going to hear people say you acting
Right.
brand new. You're going to hear people say you acting funny. You're going to hear all these things that those people who are threatened by your freedom, but you continue to stay true to you and don't care what they think. Now, in certain situations where you are still in and you want to also be able to communicate this change as well, even though they're going to see it, but there's once you realize they're getting more curious and saying, "Oh, what's up with this new attitude?" And you can explain it in the best way that you can, but I would recommend that you like work on like communicating it clearly so you're able to have constructive conversations, so it's not like a clap back. Because when you start when you really start like understanding how worthy you are, you also understand that not everything needs a response. But if you want to continue and make the relationship that you have to continue to evolve in a more healthier way, like if you're still within in that relationship, it's something that's connected to you where you can't
Right.
just cut it off, right? So you, if you want to continue to pour into that relationship in the most healthiest way, start with communication. You already showed them that this is new you. Now communicate it verbally and say, okay, yes, this is something that happened. I no longer like this, and that. I know I did it before, but excuse me, it's just something that I can't continue to sacrifice my peace for. And it's just not working. So moving forward, I would like this. And that's when you really communicate those boundaries. For me, I most of the time, the demonstrating at work, my main thing was like people being having too much access for me between my work and my family. So work, I one thing that I did was put on my headphones when I'm in my zone. So I got strict on setting a schedule because that was important for me. I realized I was a very structured person. So I set a schedule on when I can do what. I know that my team, like if they would have a lot of questions, so I would give them like 10 minutes every morning. It'll be like a prep thing, a pep talk or whatever it is. If you don't have any questions, then it's just going to be a motivation call, and then you go about your day. And encourage them to use Skype if you have any questions, just as if we was working from home, because that's what we had to do with when with COVID was very strong. So I continued that same mindset because it was so peaceful. I didn't have anyone tapping me on my shoulder, interrupting me in my work. It's just that everyone really was asking questions through this and that because we wasn't right next to each other. So I told them keep that same energy, right? So that was one of the ways where I had to show them and then communicate that with them, and also say, okay, how can I still keep the relationship healthy? And those morning meetings was one of those things. And also taking breaks to say, okay, let me check on them, because I know that interaction was still important to them. So you also have to be mindful of the other person that you are in a relationship with, whether it's business, personal. Be mindful of that, but see how you can compromise and say compromise, but not say not break your boundaries and say, okay, I'm
Right.
going to bend over backwards. But there, once you put your brains together or and even think about it, there are little things that you can do to show other people that they also are worthy of what their wants and needs, and you are willing to compromise to make the relationship work. With my family, my biggest thing was, again, their level of access to me, and do not disturb became my best friend. It happened by mistake because I kept forgetting to. First, I did it while I was at work, because when I'm at work, I wanted to be at work. So I would put my phone on do not disturb, check it here and there just to make sure, like, no messages from my daughter's school or anything. And then I remember after having my phone on do not disturb for like probably two days, my phone rung, and then I ran from like the bathroom to wherever my phone was, and I hated that feeling. So self-awareness is very powerful during this stage as well, because if I wasn't intentional about like paying attention to my emotions, I wouldn't have even connected the dots there and saying like, why am I being a slave to my phone? And it's usually not that important. Like people don't call me for emergencies. Like, I'm not the person to jump up and run just because, oh, you call and you need this. Like, what am I going to do? Like, no. So I switched to my phone to like keep it or do not disturb. And I started challenging myself, like, how long can I do this? So after a while, when people, they'll make little slick comments about, oh, I'm glad it's not an emergency. I'm glad it's not an emergency. And I would like shoot back and be like, well, yeah, that's irresponsible. If you call me for an emergency, call 911. Like, I'm not going to answer. So certain things like that is how I train my family to say, I'm not just available 24/7. Like, I also have other things that are priority. You call me, don't just call, because if you call me and don't leave a message, I'm gonna assume that, okay, whatever you needed, you don't need it anymore. I don't always return calls because most of the time it don't be anything.
True.
Now I can say there are certain people who I know that if they call me, it's for a reason, and I make it my business to call them back or do what I can, because it's just you learn you learn the people after a while. But
Mhm.
I make it clear that I'm not the one that you call in emergencies. And if you continue to do that, you're being irresponsible. Like, and my schedule is another thing. Like putting things on my calendar is very important to me. I from in the beginning of my relationships now, like any person I meet, I show them and tell them how important that is for me. I'm not saying I'm able to schedule every single thing on my calendar, but it's a big part of my life, and it helps me not only stay organized for myself, but also show the other people that they care as well. Because if I put you on my calendar and I say we're going out for lunch for 2 hours, that means I'm giving you my undivided attention for those 2 hours because we scheduled it and you showed up, and now like this is something that we get to do together. So I respect your time, and by doing that, I expect the same thing in return. Like I want you to respect my time. So that's me showing people how to treat me and understanding what's important to me, and I'm going to take this time out to understand and learn what's also important to you. So the main thing I can say when it comes down to like making that transition while you are already have an established relationship with someone is show them better than you can tell them. That's the best way that I can put it.
I like that. Show them better than you can tell them.
Mm-hmm. Because you also got to let them know how serious it show them how serious it is to you. If it's something that you just thought of last night and say I'm no longer doing this, and you haven't actually put it into practice for yourself, they
Right.
can't take you serious because you're not even taking you serious right yet.
Right.
Sure.
So
Hmm.
you have to like really prove to yourself that, for one, this is something that you really want to put in place, and also start demonstrating it, and they will catch on and start to get more curious.
When do you shift your boundary?
Um, like as far as bend it to compromise with someone,
Right. When do you bend? Or do you ever bend?
I wouldn't say bend because I it's I don't think I'm not that one to like do things that I really don't want to do.
Hmm.
I my because my boundaries aren't set on like I can't think of an example that's not like flexible, but my boundaries are like pretty much flexible where I make room for compromise already.
Okay.
So again, with the do not disturb, I'm still checking my phone certain times throughout the day, but just don't expect me to call. So that one of that with that example, the bending might come when I say, "Oh, this person don't usually call me. It got to be important.
Mhm.
Let me just take a break here to make
Right.
sure they're okay." So that's the only thing, but that's not like me really bending, because bending would be that person who called me 5 times and think I'm going to answer because they called 5 times and they want me to see. Like I don't bend for manipulation
Sure.
behavior.
Bro.
But so it's all like it's still me putting myself first, because again, if my friend is in need, I want to be there for my loved ones. So like that's something that also is fulfilling to me. But if someone just like, your emergency is not my emergency. That's one thing I make clear with people is it's all about like me prioritizing my well-being. And if I think this emergency that you're calling me about is going to stress me out, I'd rather you keep that emergency for yourself and call someone else. Like don't don't make me. But I do like talk it out. So if it's something that if someone is willing to have the conversation with me, and it's something that I'm doing where I am just being stubborn, and I really process it and think about it, okay, then I would consider,
Mhm.
okay, is this really healthier for me? Because if I'm just being stubborn, that means I'm also blocking my growth. Where someone like this person is really a vessel, and they're trying to communicate something to me, and instead of like using it as information, I'm taking it in as inflammation and and getting inflamed. So I consider and I hear it. Right. I always say growth.
I like you. I like that wording, flame.
Yeah, because everything that we take in, like for food, food or anything they would take in, it really can only go one way or the other. You're going to use it as information for whatever that experience is trying to tell you, or the food that you're eating is
Mhm.
supposed to tell your body, or it's going to be information where you're going to be triggered and turning into a negative experience, or you're going to eat something bad that's going to be bad for your body. It's everything falls in those categories for me. And that's how I break it down.
Yeah, listening to you, Tyshon, I remember myself when I was going through my spiritual awakening, and I just had to let people know that, you know what, I'm taking some time for myself. If I don't answer your messages, if when you call and I don't answer, I'm just letting you know what's up, because that time is for me. That time was for me. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with you. And we as human beings, when we are evolving, we need space for ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because many times when we are evolving, people are not evolving with us. And when you're in that space, then you really know who are with you. When you are in that space, you really realize who is going to be going on that journey with you and who you really got to drop off as boosters,
Mm-hmm.
because you go through awakening. And then when you go through that awakening period, there's a lot of things that comes up, and you really understand yourself on a deeper level. And then you got to start to set these boundaries. And as I said before, the boundaries, it has to do with no one. It has to do with you. What's good for you, what's healthy for you got to do it for you. So if you're an individual listening to this podcast today, you got to make choices for yourself. What's healthy for you? If you're evolving, there is a lot of things that's not going to be going with you. A lot of stuff you got to get rid of. Those friendships might fall away, and it's quite okay. It doesn't matter how people judge you. It has nothing to do with you. You are evolving, and you are evolving into a different space. You're moving into a different frequency. And when you go to that frequency, you will find the people who you need on that frequency. So you just need to allow the flow and allow things to happen in your life. It's all about you. It's all about self-care. Because many times we are looking at people, what people are gonna say, if we change, what people gonna say about us. You know, we can't look at people. You gotta look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta look at yourself. It's time you step back and look at yourself. Look at the direction where you're heading. Look at your journey. Look at your journey. There's some things you got to let it go. You cannot take it with you. It's stagnant. It's inflammation, as Tyshon said. You don't want inflammation in your body. Come on, you know, because many times the people that we have around us only stressing us out. And once you start to evolve into a different energy, the people them that you have around you, oh my goodness, you just can't handle that energy anymore. You just want to let those energy remove from your space. And it's quite okay to let those energies go. You are evolving. You are evolving into a beautiful being. You're moving to a different frequency. And when you move to that frequency, you'll find your tribe. And people, once you start evolving, you're going to gravitate towards the people who's supposed to be in your life, the right kind of people. Because remember, you're moving, your energy is moving into a different space. So just allow the flow. Just allow that flow in your life and stop pushing away yourself. Allow that flow, be open, and allow yourself to evolve. Just allow yourself to evolve, because many times we are fighting that evolution. And once we are fighting that evolution, we are holding ourselves back. And then you get frustrated, you get angry, you get depressed because you're not living yourself.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You are not living yourself. You're not allowing your higher self to explore that evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Just allow.
And just a second opinion, that is why it's so important to show yourself grace.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Show yourself grace, love, and compassion. And even if when we're letting things go, let it go with love. No negativity, whether it's a relationship, whatever it is, let it go with love. Because once upon a time, there was a goodness in that area. There was goodness in that space. So let it release and let it go with love, so that you can allow new things to enter in your
Right.
space, that you're constantly evolving, you constantly becoming, you're walking in your level of excellence and experiencing new beginners, new beginnings, you're experiencing new beauty of life. It's your journey, it's your path. Embrace it,
Mm-hmm.
embody it, and let love be your centerpiece. You just
Amen.
move forward and move in the level of alignment, your mind, your body, and your soul. When you allow and work with source, whatever that is for you, you can see that level of bliss. When you walk in a level of newness, it's a different elevation, because you're living at your higher self. Your vibration, you're vibing high. And it's a different kind of feeling.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Different
yes.
feeling. And when you vibing and living in your highest self, what your lower self, as we're talking tonight about prioritizing and boundaries, your lower self cannot tolerate that anymore,
Yes.
because you have moved and you're moving in a different trajectory.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So because you are moving in a different trajectory, and you're evolving and you're making space for newness and new beginnings and all this good stuff, you're already elevated. And then when you're elevated, you're moving with the right kind of people. You're talking
Mm-hmm.
differently, you're associating differently, your wanting and your desires become different, because you are elevated. Get to that.
Mm-hmm.
You give it a second thought and align yourself with a level of goodness, and watch how you talk to yourself, because that's so important. You don't want to stay stuck. You want to remind yourself how special and worthy you are, and that you have a special uniqueness within you. And
Mm-hmm.
you want to bring that beautiful gift out into the world, like what Tyshon is doing. She's sharing her gift with the world and making that level of impact in a profound way, right? And we applaud you for
Thank you. Thank you. I want to touch on something that you said about like letting people go with love, because I think that that is so important to say and get everyone to understand that it doesn't always have to be hateful.
it.
And
Right.
even with me, like my natural instincts is to like really tell people about themselves when I feel like they are being disrespectful and anything. So it takes me like no lie, like three different levels before I like really cut someone off. And even then I question if I have to communicate it or how I'm going to communicate it, because a lot of people might be too defensive and this and that. So sometimes I might just do it slowly without even saying something, and it's still not really like cutting them off. It's just like keeping them in a distance. But I'm not one who just only does like spring cleaning. Like I'm a seasonal cleaning person, right? So it's not just cleaning like as far as my house. I cleans everything around me and I say what I need to let go, right? So people are also included in that mix. Like I say, I always like to think of it as am I,
True.
if it's
True.
someone who I feel like, let's say they're always angry, and I look at our relationship and I like to question, am I, if I'm not a part of the solution, then I'm part of the problem. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm doing something that's making them worse, but I feel like if I'm not making them better, then at this point they're more draining to me. So
True.
that's how I know that that's someone that I need to clean out of my space. Right? But that's me doing it with love because I really do care about everyone. So, but I feel like some people, like I mentioned earlier, they can't be saved. Like,
No,
or
no.
not my
True.
responsibility. It's not my time. This is just something I served my purpose, and now it's time for me to keep moving. I just crossed them, crossed them by. But like I really focus on doing everything with love, and it does take. That's when I mentioned last night about my ego would really be telling me to tell them about their self, but
Mm-hmm.
I sit and I have a talk and be like, listen, we not that person anymore. Like,
Yeah.
because my clapback game used to be very strong. Like I was really that person, like I mentioned before, who would like kill them with my kindness and and like really get them together in the nicest way possible. But at the end of the day, my intentions was to be petty. So now I really focus on wanting to see them reach their greatest potential and sending them my love in the best way possible. And if giving them more space and away from me is the best way I can show them love, then that's just how it is. Like
True.
I don't make the rules. I just follow my intuition and and do what I'm called to do. So not everything. We don't always have to be petty about it though. And that was
True.
the same
True.
way when it came down to leaving jobs. I quit 2 jobs in my life, and both times I didn't give them a 2 week notice. It was like over a month notice because I sat down and had a conversation with them and I said, this is no longer serving me, but I do still want to see you do great things. Let's create an exit plan. Like we can work together during my exit, and I'm going to do whatever it is to set you up for success, but just know that I'm leaving and this is how it's going to be. So that takes more than 2 weeks, and a lot of people didn't understand that. They was like, if they wanted to fire you, they would have fired you right away. But no, it don't have to always be nasty. You treat people how you want to be treated,
Yes.
not how they
Exactly.
treat you. So I'm
Exactly.
not going to quit just because jobs fire you in a heartbeat. Like that wasn't the energy that I was on. If it takes me a month to like continue to set you up for success and me go on continue my journey without you, it's not hurting me. That's what I'm
True.
going to do. So that was me like letting them go with love, and it's so much better that way.
It
Anything,
is.
like you mentioned earlier, love is always the answer. Like anything you can do
Yes.
with love at the
Always.
center of it, it just makes it so much easier.
Absolutely right. Oh my
So true.
goodness,
Wow.
Tyshon. This is such a beautiful
Wow.
conversation, and the audience, oh my God, you guys are absolutely amazing.
Beautiful.
You guys
Beautiful.
are amazing. Raven, Divine, Kelly, Lydia, Brianna, Michelle, Dr. Terrence, Tommy Thompson. Oh my goodness, these
Beautiful.
comments are so beautiful.
Beautiful.
And
I,
we
I,
so,
I, sick of I just want to say maybe we should just do a series on this.
Yeah, that'll be good.
yeah, yeah,
Think about
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because we all need these enrichment in our lives every single day. And we tend to forget about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
We tend to forget about ourselves. And especially we women, we have this nurturing spirit with
Right.
us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, we just keep pouring
Mm-hmm.
into someone else and forgetting that we got to pour into
Right.
ourselves.
Right.
So when we have these conversations, it's just a gentle reminder
Yeah.
to let sometimes we just gotta pause and we gotta check in with ourselves and to see exactly where we are heading. And as Tyshon rightfully said, some people that we just need to like spring clean out of our lives and just release them with love, because many times we really gotta do some spring cleaning. We really got, whether it's summer or winter, we got to continue with that spring cleaning, you know, because remember, we are evolving all the time. And as we said before, many times, some people cannot go with us.
Mm-hmm.
And as Joan said, we just got to release them with love. We
Oh,
just got to look at the lessons that we learn from the experiences, cherish it,
mm-hmm.
and we just have to release them and just let them go with no ill fate for no one.
No,
Don't ever do that,
no,
because you're just going to be continue having that energy with you, and you don't want to be traveling with that energy.
no, no good.
When you release love, it's only love going to be surrounded by. So just allow that energy to be released and just let it go. It might take some time,
Yeah,
but
that's true.
when you work on it every single day, you detach yourself from that energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a constant work, and eventually you just detach yourself from that energy. And you just dust yourself off, and you know what? You feel refreshed, you feel new, because you allow yourself now to have new energy to come into your life. You're filling that space with new energy. So this evening, Tyshon, oh my goodness, you really enrich us this evening. And you really help us to understand boundaries, help us to understand about self-care, help us to understand about evolution, and what are some of the things that we really need to focus on for our well-being as human beings. Because many times, as I said, we forget about ourselves. We just keep going through the journey, and we're now forgetting, we're now remembering about ourselves. We are forgetting about ourselves. So thank you so much. And to the audience, we just want to thank you once again for showing up and supporting us. We really appreciate you so much. And Joan said in the opening statement that we're going to be giving away self-care books. Just send us a video and let us know what you're working on for your self-care, and send your address, and it will be in your mailbox. This is our gift to you. We just want to help you as an individual as you're walking this journey. We just want to give back. We just want to give back because you guys are supporting us for 2 years and over. We just want to give back. So send us that video, and you're going to have that book in your mailbox. Right, Joan?
What else can we say? When we're talking about love and we're talking about kindness and we're talking about gratitude, that's what it's about. Kindness, love, and gratitude is our centerpiece that we ride on. We flow on that. So when we can share with others and give back, that's how we change. That's how we make changes. And it's a ripple effect. So do that, and then you share this. Let's celebrate you. Let's celebrate you for you taking the action of your self-care, working on your goals, and we will make sure that you receive this. And we'll send you a band as well to believe in yourself. It's just great to be in a space where we can share giving and taking and receiving love, joy, happiness, and just as we talk about giving gratitude. And Tyshon, you are truly an amazing person. You're special. And we just want to say that thank you for being who you are because
Oh, thank you so much.
your journey and the place that you have evolved to and continue to
Yes.
evolve
Mhm.
as a person, as a mother, as a coach, and all the beautiful stories that you share at a car wash and in that room yesterday that you created, and you continue to evolve and do so much in the world. the level of impact, you changing lives daily. You are infusing love in a profound way and helping people to understand that you come first. Make your priority and set those boundaries because it's for your well being. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And thanks to everyone in the audience and those who are going to catch us on the replay. We love you. Continue self care for yourself.
One thing was said in our room last night, that I really take away, something that Divine said in our room last night. It was very touching when she said that you are at a point in your life with that car wash,
Yeah, that's
you
beautiful.
know. When she said that, that gave me chills, because many times we don't understand that we are placed in different places,
Yeah.
and the place can teach us.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many takeaways that a place can teach
Hmm.
us. It could be a job that we are doing, but we're not paying attention,
Right.
to the lessons that we can learn from that job. So when she talked about our car wash last night,
That was
that
beautiful.
was so beautifully said.
Beautiful, divine. Beautiful.
It
Divine, that was a beautiful
Beautiful.
message last
was.
night.
Beautiful.
That was a beautiful takeaway last night in
It
that
really
room.
was.
Each
Yes.
person that was in the room. It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah.
it was,
It's a
it was such a beautiful,
yeah.
very uplifting, very
Yes.
inspirational,
Yes.
educational. There was so much to draw from.
Yes.
Thank you
That
so
Yes.
much for saying that.
No,
It
it
means
is. It
a lot.
is.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much.
It's beautiful.
Yes. Must make sure you send us that room ahead of time so
Yeah,
we can share it out on our black platform.
with others.
Will do, will do. And like within just thinking about the experience and like the like I say, this is a whole. It's all new to me. Like I never managed anything like this. But the biggest thing for me, as we're talking about like self care and self worth, that's one of the things because everyone knows like when you work in service jobs like car wash, waitresses, they work for tips. But I disagree with that because I'm a big believer of like not putting my worth in someone else's hand. And I literally just had this experience today where one of the guys wasn't washing the lady's car quick enough, and the first thing she said was, "He don't deserve my tip." And I didn't like comment on it because what she don't know is our guys don't work for tips. We pay them an hourly wage because we respect their time and whatever we agree on, that's what you're gonna. Even if we sit here with no cars, you're going to get paid whatever we agree to pay. So, like I think people use that as like power and say I'm going to use this tip to show you how worthy we are, and it does affect people's self-worth as far as what they
Yes.
have
Yeah.
believe they're where they are, and their self-care as well, like it's an impact on it, and I don't like that we give people that power. So that's why I say I never applied for a job where I had to work for tips because I strongly believe that you are not about to like tell me that I get this per hour. Like my time is only worth the minimum per hour, and then let everyone else determine how worthy I am based on how much they tip me. Like that never sat well with me. And like we're probably like one of the very few car washes who do that. So it is a different vibe and energy, and we notice that difference with the people who come. Like even if like first time customers who would come and just meet me and they'll ask how much. It's some people say it's high, some people say it's average, but the people who think it's high, they still will come because they just feel the positive energy. They're like, if this was anybody else, I probably would have said. One lady literally told me, she said, I would have said F you if you was anybody else, but that smile sold me. Like, and it matters. That's why I always talk about leading with a smile, because it's not
Right.
just about like how you look, or like your energy matters when it comes down to
Does.
leading a team, attracting customers, engaging with people every single day. I always tell to be careful, like even if you don't have a leadership title, be careful with the energy that you're putting out, because someone else is looking up to you,
Yeah.
and you want to be intentional about leading them down the right path, even if you don't understand that you are doing it. Just you continue to lead lead your own life, and then they will follow until it's time for you to part ways. So like I always like that this is something that I learned just because I was forced to look at things through a different light, because I was always so like in professional environments and everything was laid out for me. Here it was just like, do you like lead by being you, and it just was like so different for me. And that tip thing really like set a different tone when it came down to how people like just appreciate, they're happy to come to work even though they're just washing cars, but they're happy to be there because it's more of a respect and understanding how valuable everyone is as a person, as a human being.
You know, you touch on something there that, you know, we as human beings don't really understand certain things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Money is energy, you know. And if you is going to release money to an individual, you do it with love,
Mm-hmm.
you do it with compassion, and don't have stipulations. Because when you're releasing that energy, you're supposed to look at it as releasing love to someone.
Yes.
You know, that person did a job. If you're making that decision to tip that individual, why should it be stipulations? You know, why look at that person's, you know what, well, I'm not going to tip you because this, I'm not going to tip you because of that.
Right.
You know, your job is being done. And if you find in your heart you want to give this person something, release it with love. It's a currency, as Raven is saying, it's a currency.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
why look at it as though I'm not going to do this for you, I'm not going to do that for you because
Right.
it's money involved.
Mm-hmm.
We really need to change our mindset around certain things, you know. You know, we
So
really
true.
need to look at certain things with a different eye and allow things to just flow. Give it that energy of flowing. If you are at a restaurant and you want to leave a tip for an individual, just give it with love, or
Mm-hmm.
don't leave it at all. Because it doesn't make sense you're going to leave something and have an energy attached towards it. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Generosity.
Do it with love. Let's look at when we do something, just do it with love and compassion. The world needs that. The world needs our love and our compassion. So, whatever you do from this moment onwards, do it with love, do it with compassion. And
Kindness.
whenever you release something, don't look for something. Release something with no expectation.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we look for something coming back, then is when we get hurt. Then is when we get hurt. When you release something, just release it with love and compassion. Just let it go. Because many times where we plant the seeds, that's not where we're gonna reap the harvest. The harvest is somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So don't look for nothing where you plant. Just continue wherever you go. Just plant that seed of love and compassion.
Make deposits.
Absolutely. Your withdrawal gonna come somewhere else. Don't look for
Well,
nothing. Don't look for
that's
nothing.
charity.
Don't look for nothing. Just remember we love each and every one of you. And thanks
Thank you guys
again
so much.
for supporting us. We really, really appreciate each and every one of you that came in this room tonight. You know, we really, really appreciate each and one of you that show up here and
Mhm.
give us this support, because it means a lot to us. And it helps us to understand that we are making an impact in the world. Because with your support, it clearly shows that the messages that we're bringing, at least we are touching lives. And thank you so much once again for being in this space with us and enriching this space with your beautiful comments. You guys have a fabulous week and continue to believe in yourself. Continue to prioritize your self care. Set your boundaries. Boundaries are not selfish.
Yes.
Remember to send us your videos, your short videos, and you will be having one of these self care books in your mailbox. We love you guys so much.
Let's
Thank you
celebrate you.
once again.
Let's
We
celebrate.
celebrate you. Love you guys.
Love you.